going into now is about the importance of the county sheriff. One thing that we've been busy doing since the last meeting, we've been circulating petitions, and I got a lot of help from Fred and some other people. And if you haven't signed this, it's over on the table. Please sign it. This is in support of our sheriff. What we're going to do is we're going to gather all these petitions together tonight. A couple of us are going to be meeting with our sheriff in the next couple weeks to present him and see where his line in the sand is. I've been to many gun club meetings in Bucks County and trying to spread this message. I spoke at the first meeting about the constitutional role of the county sheriff. I think this office is really key to restoring our republic and bringing the power back to the people. You know, we the people, and we're all guilty of this to some degree, have allowed our legislature and judiciary to usurp the power of the sheriff. They've stolen that power. We now have to take it back peacefully through nullification. And what nullification is a simple thing. It just means saying no. It's one word. All power flows through our Constitution and through us, not through the statutes. And it's critical that we enlist law enforcement, military, and other first responders, both active and retired. So the first thing we need to do is we need knowledge. We need to learn about it. And if you go on our website, you'll see video from the first meeting. I kind of laid it out briefly. We're also going to have another video of William Taylor Ryle speaking at the last meeting last week where he lays it out. Right now, we're actually going to, while I'm talking, we're going to pass a hat around to get donations. Appreciate your support. We have to pay for the lodge. We got one in the back and one up here. We're going to start here in the back. So I appreciate, giving whatever you can to help support our mission. None of us are getting paid for this. We're trying to, raise funds to spread the message. So, first we need the knowledge. And like I said, please go watch these videos. If you go on YouTube and just do a search for constitutional sheriff, you'll find plenty of information out there. It is a constitutional office. The power has been stolen, like I said, by the judiciary and the legislative branch. Then we need action. Now, action requires courage. Action revolves around the sworn oath of the sheriff, our police, and all elected officials. So I'd encourage you to talk with your sheriff, whether it's here, Bucks County or Montgomery County or wherever you're from. Talk with your sheriff, talk with your police, talk with your local officials. Ask them when the last time they read the Pennsylvania and the U.S. Constitution, which is what they swore their oath to. Demand that they follow it. Tell your town council to pass a resolution like Gilberton, like New Britain Township has done to codify and preserve the Second Amendment. Tell your sheriff, if he or she expects your support, then you better have theirs. And lastly, be patient. We can't expect anybody to just take our word for it immediately. What we're talking about is encouraging people to educate themselves. Like I said, point them to the videos online and the various resources. Our sheriff tonight talked about the letter that he wrote, and I think it's awesome. I applaud him for it. But with all due respect, saying that he doesn't support infringement and standing with us are two different things. Because if it's not him, then who are we going to turn to? I want to know that I can count on him or her, and in turn, they'll have my support. By show of hands, how many people feel the same way? Awesome. Another thing I'm going to ask you to do, we have some information over here about Oath Keepers. Take one of these cards, or we have some brochures, and become a member. It's $40 a year. Anybody can join. You don't have to have sworn an oath. The Oath Keepers is a nonpartisan national organization to educate people on the importance of the oath. And on the back and on their website, there's a list of 10 orders that, as an Oath Keeper, myself, Chief Kessler as well is an Oath Keeper, 10 orders that we will not follow. So I encourage you to check that out. It's about this, we will not disarm the American people, etc. So give it to a friend or family member who serves and ask them if their oath was a sincere commitment or if it was just words. Ask them to join. There's another great organization up here, the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. The website's up there. That's Sheriff Mack's organization. That's got a lot of great resources. Another great resource is the Sheriff Brigades of Pennsylvania, which is, the website is Sheriff Brigades of Penn, P-E-N-N. That's Bill Riles' website there. There's a lot of great information on that. I take a lot of inspiration from Bill. He's way more knowledgeable than I have. He's been doing this a long time, so I'd encourage you to check that out as well. .com, sorry. So the Bucks County Sheriff Office is up for election this year, and we have another candidate, Tom Lingenfelter. Tom, are you here anywhere? Where is he? Tom Lingenfelter's thrown his hat into the ring for sheriff for the GOP primary, and Tom, I thank you for doing that. I thank you for stepping forward and giving us a choice. There's also a Democratic Party candidate, goes by the name of Dennis McCauley. I've reached out to him as well, and what I hope to do is next month have both of them give a few words as well. We still need to discuss it, but that's my goal. So we have a choice. What we all need to do is, as citizens with a responsibility, is question the candidates, ask them if they stand with you, support the ones who do. If you're registered with a party other than the GOP or Democratic, you can't vote in the primary. You can change your party affiliation up until April 22nd. What I'm asking you to do is consider choosing loyalty to the Constitution over party loyalty for just one day to cast your vote. You can change back. It's not a big deal. So it's what I've learned, during the course of the last few months or the last year when I've been taking all this information in is that there is another organization, which Bill Riles started, the Sheriff Brigades of Pennsylvania. So it's really my intention now to kind of merge what we're doing into the Bucks County Sheriff Brigade, because we both have the same goals. Why reinvent the wheel? I don't care about getting glory for this. Neither does Bob. We just want to see our republic come back to us. There's a lot of information on their website. Again, it's sheriffbrigadesofpenn.com. So please check that out. And I'll real quickly just read a little blurb to just let you know about them from their website. The County Sheriff Brigades of Pennsylvania is a group of concerned citizens in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania devoted to helping each county sheriff brigade in the Commonwealth accomplish their mission to educate and network the citizens of the county for the support of their constitutional sheriff as he or she upholds their solemn oath of office, keep the peace, and preserve and protect the inalienable rights of we the people. The Sheriff Brigades is not affiliated with any sheriff or any sheriff's office. The Sheriff Brigades is not to be construed as being a militia group, a paramilitary, or as having anything to do with violence or hostility towards any person or group or cause. It's a law-abiding grassroots organization comprised of patriotic, freedom-loving Americans. We invite anyone who may experience even the slightest initial reaction of anxiety or fear about the group to become enlightened and informed about who we are. We encourage everyone in the Commonwealth to join a county sheriff brigade in celebrating and protecting the blessings of freedom and truth in our great state and nation. One last thing, I came up with this idea a little bit ago. I talked with Fred actually earlier today about having some type of presence in the Doylestown Memorial Day Parade for Oath Keepers. If anybody wants to participate in that, it's something that we need to talk about as a group, but if anybody would like to get involved, please let me know. Fred's got an awesome deuce and a half and probably another military vehicle, so maybe we hand out constitutions and have some presence and let people know about this. So anyways, I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Like I said, Oath Keepers and constitutional sheriffs and peace organizations, please support them. Thank you.
Well done, and as a follow-up to that, let me ask you a question. Those of you who are here, how many of you have taken an oath of office at some point in your life, whether military or police officer? Let me see a show of hands. Good show. And as Mike Tilley likes to say, and I agree with him on that, when I took my oath back in 1965, I had no idea what it meant to uphold and defend the Constitution. A year later, I was in Vietnam, and I wasn't thinking about the Constitution then. Now I am. And as Mike likes to say, that oath expires when I do. So I hope all of you feel the same way about that. Now, next group, the third group, is going to be our public outreach group, and Carla Greletto, who is heading up that group, will come and give us an update on that. Carla?
Hi. Do you have you don't have the first slide there with the picture? Okay. All right. The first slide actually had a picture showing the rally we had on May 2nd, I believe it was, in Doylestown. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So anyhow, we had 225 people show for that. And so one of the things we're doing the outreach, there's several members here. I'm not going to call everybody's name out. We're trying to still form the thing. What we're trying to do is to see where can we affect most of the people to convince them to think our way, educate them, and then essentially these will be the people that are going to make a difference as far as voting the legislators in. Okay, please. Okay. Okay, so my title is I'm frustrated. Why am I frustrated? Well, because it's emotion, ignorance, misinformation. That's our main nemesis. Okay, if the attitude towards the Second Amendment and firearm ownership was based on facts, then the overwhelming majority of the populace would be on our side. I mean, oh, you got the Courier Times in there. Great. Okay, can you play that? Okay, so I'll speak about it. So basically, we were invited, and 3 of us went there representing the CGOBC to the Courier Times editorial staff. We explained to them very carefully and very logically with facts why we should have protection in our schools, what are the facts about the Second Amendment, and at least they listened to us. At the end, the thing that got me is at the end, and I'll come back to that on my last slide. I think it'll fit in a lot better. But essentially, the reason why I'm frustrated is, as I mentioned, is if I'm a scientist, and so essentially, I always thought that if you had the facts and you could prove people the facts and show them all of the evidence, and we have the overwhelming evidence on our side that gun ownership has actually protected people rather more so than any harm that's done, that everyone would be convinced. But that's not the case. So in a recent Colorado hearing about women to defend themselves, here are some of the facts. According to the FBI, Americans use firearms for self-defense 2.1 million times annually. In the vast majority of those self-defense cases, the citizen will only brandish a gun, and it essentially ends the confrontation. In less than 8% of those self-defense cases will the citizen even be wounded. Less than 8% of the cases, the attacker would not even be wounded. Over 1.9 million of those self-defense cases involve handguns. As many as 500,000 of those self-defense cases are away from home, and 10% of those self-defense cases are women defending themselves against sexual abuse or abuse. Okay, so violent crime rates are the highest overall in states with laws severely limiting and prohibiting the concealed carry defense, an FBI Uniform Code crime report of 1992. So these facts have been substantiated over and over again. So you think somebody would look at this kind of information and say, well, geez, you know, why have gun control laws? Why not allow people to own guns? It's doing more good than harm. Now, if you want some facts to really substantiate this, you could look at all of these, and we'll put this on our website so you can see it. But one of the reasons why I have this on here, especially the one by Professor Gary Kleck, Now, he's a well-known criminologist. In fact, his testimony and his facts were brought out in the two Supreme Court decisions that were recently went in our favor. Now, and what I'm saying is, if logical people can look at this and come with the right conclusion. Now, this Professor Kleck is a liberal, is a member of Amnesty International, is a registered Democrat, and he took this task on himself. And what he came to the conclusion was that approximately 100 more times people are defended with guns than people are hurt with guns. And he came up, his numbers actually came out to 2.5 million cases a year where somebody uses a gun to defend himself or his property. Next one. Okay, so this is the outreach group. So we're doing several things. As mentioned before, we have the April 22nd Second Amendment Rally in Harrisburg. We're going to present to the Vietnam Memorial Association. We've gone to many different gun clubs, gun shows. We personally have gone to tea parties. Several of us have gone to tea parties all over the state, all over the county. We've explained it to them, trying to get people activated on this. I see what we need. What we have here is three different kinds of groups. We have people like us that are basically totally in favor of having gun rights, and will probably do something from an activist point of view, call your legislator, write letters. Then we have the gun owner that maybe occasionally uses a gun, thinks it's a good idea to, make deer hunt, and says he has no need for an assault weapon. And so that person we have to try to convince. And then there's also the other person that's totally emotional and basically says guns are bad, guns are used for killing, there should be less guns. So those last two groups, especially the third group that I just mentioned, is the one that I think we should be concentrating on. Now, we've gone to newspapers and press, as I mentioned, and as I mentioned earlier, we were at the we were interviewed with the board of the Courier Times, excuse me. We explained everything, and at the end of the video, they show the reporter coming out with a report and says the Quinnipiac poll shows that 57% of Pennsylvanians favor gun control. Now, what does that mean, gun control? I don't know. And I think this is the group that we have to address. I think if you think about it, if it's 57%, if you can change the minds of that 15% of that 57%, the majority is going to be on our side. And I think these are people not only that are emotionally concerned about guns, but these are people that also think, well, I see no reason for an assault weapon. I didn't even know what that is. It's a fully automatic machine gun or whatever. So we've gone out. We've had a 40-minute interview with the Lansdale news radio station. We've written letters. We've put in guest opinions or guest opinions in newspapers, et cetera, et cetera. But I think